The founder of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, has arrived at home in Australia. He was met in Canberra with cheers from supporters and welcomed home as a free man by his wife Stella and his father John. He touched down after a very long flight and a 14-year legal saga that ended in a plea deal with the United States. Anna Cunningham is in London. There was a news conference just a few minutes ago. Anna, no sign of Julian Assange at the microphone, but his wife Stella did in fact speak. What did she say?
Yes, Stella Assange firstly thanked the Australian government for all their work to free her husband. She did get quite emotional when she was describing how she felt about seeing him back in Australia. And she did confirm as well that her husband, Julian, would not be appearing and speaking right now. Heather, what Stella Assange said was that Julian needed time, she said, and space. Take a listen.
Julian wanted me to sincerely thank everyone. He wanted to be here. But you have to understand what he's been through. He needs time. He needs to recuperate. And this is a process. I ask you, please, to give us space.
I think many people are wanting to hear directly from Julian Assange, but it's not unexpected, that plea from his wife for their family to be given time and space. Heather, Stella Assange did say that in her husband's case, she believes it showed that the freedom of the press is a dangerous place and that the US, she said, should have dropped the case against it. She was also asked about this issue of a presidential pardon. And Stella Assange did say that she thinks that will happen if the press unite in support of her husband. And interestingly as well, Heather, she was asked on the question of whether WikiLeaks will continue to publish leaked papers. She simply said that her husband needed that time to recover, but she said that was his priority at the moment, but that he remains a deeply principled and unafraid man. Heather.
And at that news conference, we also heard from his lawyers, both his American and his Australian lawyers, and they both talked about this key issue of press freedom, which has been central to the Julian Assange story throughout. On that point, what did they say?
Yes, well, his Australian lawyer, Jennifer Robinson, stood up at that news conference, and she said that Australia stood up to its ally, the US. She also said that Julian Assange had told the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, that he had saved his life, which she said was no exaggeration. But she did say that it was unfortunate that he had had to plead guilty to gain his freedom, and that she believes it sets a dangerous precedent for journalists. Have a listen.
In order to win his freedom, Julian pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit espionage for publishing evidence of US war crimes, human rights abuse and US wrongdoing around the world. This is journalism. This is the criminalisation of journalism. An award-winning Australian journalist who's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for these publications has spent more than 5 years in a high-security prison because of this extradition request from the United States.
Heather, we might not be hearing from Julian Assange today. His wife Stella, though, when she was asked if he would speak in the coming days, did say no comment. But I think, still remains very divisive in terms of some people viewing him as a hero and others seeing him as a villain.
Anna, thank you very much.